My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for High Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at High Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. High Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
In the coverage of the last round at Tailem Bend, we talked about the stunning looking Wolf racing cars in the prototype series. So I thought we'd spend a moment and have a closer look at the car that Sage Murdoch is driving this weekend. You are one very lucky man. You can tell the sports car lineage here, great aerodynamics and a lot more horsepower than you've been used to in Formula 4 as well.
Yeah, major difference with compared to the Formula 4 to this. It's just a step up, and yeah, horsepower definitely, 100 horsepower difference. The torque is a lot more, so you just get more power out of the corners, and straight line speed, yeah.
Powered by a Honda engine, about 260 horsepower. They weigh, I mean, the power to weight ratio is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, they weigh about from 600 to 650 kilos. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
What adaptation has there been for you stepping out of Formula 4, and how much did it prep you for this series in some respects?
Actually, it prepped me a lot. It taught me how to drive an aero car a lot more, and if I hadn't have done that series, I wouldn't have been as good as this, as I am now.
Round 2 of the Australian Prototype Series presented by Hot Wheels brings Australia's answer to Le Mans style racing to Sandown International Raceway. Here at Shannon Nationals, Sage Murdoch with an onboard camera. This is JP Drake, the very cool Hot Wheels Wolf GB08. He will be starting from a very strong third position. The grid has Jason Macris and Mark Lauke 1 and 2 after a dramatic opening race on Saturday that saw rainfall halfway through, and the Wolf driver grabbed that brand's first win on Australian soil. Phil Hughes from 4th, Tony Haggerty and Chris Perini next to watch for Dimitri Asada-Laudis. He starts in the SR8, radical from the back of the field, but should be one to charge his way forward. This is the view from Phil Hughes, getting set for the rolling start. That long drag race into turn 1 gives you a good impression of how close it is, just staying off the gearbox of Mark Lauke's car in front. Away we go. The Wolf has the horsepower. Great start from Jason Macris. JP Drake will look down the inside of Mark Lauke and clears him easily in that long run into turn 1. Lauke will look down the inside. Hughes to the outside, really deep, too deep in fact. He's gone off the road. And now his next job is to keep it out of the gravel trap if he can. Drive it out, Phil. Well, an ambitious move around the outside. Ultimately locked the rears and sent the car flying off into the undergrowth. JP Drake, the big winner from that start. He's second behind his teammate Jason Macris. There's Asada-Laudis. We mentioned that he'll be one to watch as he comes through the field. Here's Sage Murdoch. Unfortunately, there was some serious dramas with his Wolf GB08 in Saturday's race. He switched to the backup car, a West WX10. And just limping around at the back of the field, that car doesn't sound healthy on the opening lap of this race. Asada-Laudis already passed Tony Haggerty. Simon Haggerty, his next one to watch. Here's Mark Lauke, running in third in close company. Those two Wolves so powerful, they'll be better in a straight line than the defending champions West WX10. 1 lap down, longest race in the series history. Wolves 1 and 2, then back to the west of the defending champion. Radicals next. They run through that famous turn 1 here at Sandown.
So Jason Macris leads the way at Sandown. Brilliant start for the 2 Jam Motorsport Wolf GB08s. He leads his teammate JP Drake. The reigning champion Mark Lauke hanging tough in third place. They've got a comfortable margin now over Simon Haggerty, who's got up to 4th place, the first of the radicals in the field. Tony Haggerty, his dad, just in behind. The big story, Phil Hughes off the road at turn 1. The winner of this round 12 months ago, he is well and truly beached there, and he is not moving, so that will require a safety car to extricate that car from the gravel trap at turn 1. full head of steam barreling down there. Wasn't sure if there was contact or not on that run into turn 1, but he's ended up down there. He's not moving, and we do go safety car. So the race will be neutralised while that Radical SR3, the round winner at Sandown 12 months ago, is recovered from the gravel trap. Pretty frenetic start. The Wolves 1 and 2.
This is the longer race that we've seen the Australian prototypes running in. There's certainly a whole lot of unknowns that we're actually exploring for the first time for the Australian Prototype Series. It's going to be out of 28 laps. We've got 4 laps in the bag already as we come under control of the BMW Melbourne safety car. And these Wolves that have jumped away very, very nicely. And I'm hoping that it's not a race of attrition here. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good, strong race with all cars getting on through.
So a restart. We're back underway at Sandown. There's 22 laps to go. It's Jason Macris leading JP Drake and Mark Lauke. The run down this long start-finish straight. The Radicals are squabbling behind them. Dimitri Zardoulaudis has blazed past Simon Haggerty and grabs 3rd place, 4th place away. But Haggerty fights back down the inside, retakes the spot. So the Radicals are squabbling over the Miners. The top 3 spots locked out, the 2 Wolves and then the West of Mark Lauke, the defending champion. But good restart from Zardoulaudis. That car repaired after impact yesterday on the exit of the left-hander at Dandenong Road in those really greasy conditions. Spun the car on the exit of the corner and made frontal contact. But a battle on for the race lead, wheel to wheel. JP Drake round the outside of his teammate Jason Macris. The 2 Wolves wheel to wheel, and there's brilliant corner exit for Drake, and he's gone past as they turn in at turn 6 at the top. The golden black wolf goes in front of the green and black one, change of the lead.
Gee, you couldn't have written the script for that more perfectly as these 2 Wolves are going for it in front. And I dare say, Mark Lauke's probably just enjoying the spectacle of going on out the front at the moment. There's 22 laps remaining. He just needs to stay in touch with them. And I guess with 5 or 6 remaining to start to show the nose of the very brightly coloured West from Lauke Flour Mills, as it is. And coming on to the front straight here, certainly the Wolves do have a fair bit more frontal area. They're a bit more harder to push through the air than the West with its very, very low slung rear wing. And the Radicals, of course, sitting up a fair bit higher, but have exceptionally more torque and certainly more weight. The good news is that Phil Hughes has rejoined the field, albeit a lap down for those watching on at home. His kids and wife will be certainly watching on down in the Mornington Peninsula. So just catching up with the Haggerty family here and the Nelson family as well. Oh, and there's Sage Murdoch out on the inside of Dandenong Road, right in front of the flag point.
He's had a shocking weekend, Daz. Really terrible, as we said. Oil pressure issues in his Wolf yesterday. Sidelined that car after just a couple of laps. Didn't do any racing. And switched to the backup West overnight, and still more dramas. And now not taking any further part by the looks of it, with that car pulled off quite safely, it must be said, to the inside. Their drivers left on the Armco just past or just before the apex of the very tight, very famous left-hand corner.
With all the action that we see down there, that's actually probably a safe haven where he's pulled up there. It's one of the places that not so many cars end up if they're in strife there. One thing that Mark Lauke's got to be very aware of right now is that he's dropping back rapidly off the front of these 2. It's now over 4 seconds between himself and those guys, so he can't allow that to ease out too much more before he's well and truly lost contact. In fact, Zardoulaudis at the moment is starting to range up onto Mark Lauke, so he needs to respond, and he needs to respond right now to the charge with these 2 Wests out in front.
James Winslow doing some driver coaching and some work with Dimitri Zardoulaudis, which is fantastic, and was talking to him yesterday after the crash. Said, keep your head up, keep working. We'll get the car fixed, we'll send it out for tomorrow, and he certainly did. Now Macris on the attack, right in the slipstream of his exuberant teammate JP Drake as they run up to the top of the hill. Yellow flags flying at the run to Dandy Road, so there'll be no overtaking. You'll have to be in front before you turn the car into turn 6 if you want to complete a pass there with Sage Murdoch parked on the side of the road. Terrific racing though, wheel-to-wheel stuff for the 2 Jam Motorsport teammates and these very cool Honda-powered Wolf GB08 prototypes.
The Hot Wheels car against the Marina Mirage outfit there. The golden black versus the green and black, and it is looking like it's going to be 20 laps of these 2 protagonists showing us their wares as they come down the very long straight here. It will be John Paul Drake that just pulls the slightest ever gap there, but under brakes, Jason Macris is absolutely massive. The missile, his fellow competitors called him at Taylor Bend at round 1.
Well, it was his mate JP Drake, who's currently leading him, that called him that. So he dubbed him the missile as he fired up. Having said that, his Instagram account is JMacAttack. So he plays it up as well. And again, another really good run out of turn 4. This long back straight up the road. Drake just positioning his car nicely right in the middle of Sundown Raceway, so there's not quite enough of a wolf-sized gap on the outside there for Macros to go through. Yellow flags have been removed. Now down the inside of Dandenong Road, had a big look. Jason Macros couldn't do it, couldn't get the pass done. Had a big look though, and Drake just firmly shut the door. Great wheel-to-wheel racing.
Zadilati's now gone through on Mark Lauke in car number 1, and we've heard some word from down trackside that car number 1 has got an engine miss.
Wheel to wheel again, brilliant run out of the final corner. Drake on the outside, terrific scrap. Macros having a look, but Drake must have got the better corner exit because he's just pulled back in front of his teammate. This is a great scrap. No, he's got it wrong. Drake locks a brake into turn 1. The right front Kumo grabbed, and Jason Macros goes through. Fantastic scrap.
A wry smile on the face of Jason Macros as he watched his fellow competitor John Paul Drake lock it up. And at the moment, better you than me, buddy.
Zadilati has gone to 3rd, so that report we heard from pit lane about a potential engine miss on car number 1 seems to be coming true, because Lauke has dropped behind Mitch Nielsen and Simon Haggerty in the pair of radicals as well. The West's straight line speed is its key advantage at a place like this. Not showing so much in this one. It did sound pretty ill. It came past our commentary box. Mark, like we said in relation to Phil Hughes early on, just needs to circulate, score some points. He proved last year more than anybody that you can come from a long way back and still win the championship.
Yeah, across the Australian motorsport landscape, it was Mark Lauke that came from the furthest back, didn't he?
Zadilati's doing a really good job in that patched up number 86 car. He's running 3rd. Simon Haggerty with Mitch Nielsen right behind, full of pressure in the great battle for 4th and 5th place.
That's what we're talking about right now, coming down the straight. And gee, the prototypes really do show up the bumps in the Sandown layout, don't they? They really wobble around on their wheelbase. Makes it a bit tough. This particularly part of the track here, which is like a patchwork quilt, they really do move around and unload the suspension. It can be very, very tricky to try and keep the foot buried in the floor to get through that part of the track. Dimitri Zadilati certainly taking full advantage of driver coaching. It's the easiest way to make up time in a race car is to grab a very experienced racer and ask them how to do it. Often there's a little bit of an exchange, a commercial exchange there as well, but what in life doesn't have a commercial exchange these days? But if you spend a little bit of money on that, you can spend $10,000 on a dyno, another $10,000 when you blow the engine on a dyno. Yeah. If you spend 20% or 5% of that on a bit of driver coaching, you get the same amount out of a lap, then it's the cheapest lap time you can possibly ever get in a race car.
The 2 leaders are exchanging fastest laps. 1 minute 14.70 for Macros last time round, the leader. Drake 1 minute 14.4, so he's taken another 3/10 out. The gap now down to 1.6.
Well, Nielsen looking right wide around the number 5, the Simon Haggerty car now. This will be an exchange at the end of the straight. It'll be side by side 2 identically matched SR3s. And side by side past the famous Sandown grandstand. The switch back. He's going to be on the wrong side for turn 2, although he'll have the lead before they even arrive there.
Terrific scrap. So they were wheel to wheel going in. Haggerty committed, but Nielsen's pass was nicely judged. Just did the old over-under. Puff of smoke from the right to the left front.
In fact, Haggerty's hurting.
He is. He's limping now. It wasn't when they were dueling. There was no contact either.
No.
But Haggerty just struggling to get out of turn 4, and he's given away a lot of lap time and truck position this lap.
I wonder if he's damaged the tyre when he went up over on that ripple strip at turn 1. It wasn't that bad a run, but I guess in these low-slung radicals, Simon Haggerty's out of the HRT car now as well. So
yeah, there wasn't a lot of speed from the mechanics. They weren't throwing themselves at that car to try and get it back on the racetrack. So Macros the leader, Drake next, then Zadilati. Nielsen 4th, Haggerty 5th, Lauke 6th, and Phil Hughes in 7th. And as we talked about at the top of the race, we'll just score some championship points. And as it stands, after a pretty decent day yesterday where he was 4th in race 1, Macros will win the round with 76 points, but Hughes will walk away with 61 for the weekend. So he's only giving away 15 championship points, despite ending up bunkered in the gravel track for a lap and a half at the start of the race. So that shows the importance of getting to the end. And speaking of the end, Jason Macros has started his final lap of the race. 1 to go for the South Australian, now based on the Gold Coast, the Marina Mirage driver in the Wolf GBO8. Marina Mirage, very exciting development up there on the Gold Coast. JP Drake sets another fastest lap of the race, 14.0. It's been a good battle between the teammates. The gap down to 3.5 seconds.
Zardalaudis now putting car 1 a lap down as well, and Mark Lauke's not at all happy with it. He's going to try and go with him, but as much as his will wants him to, the West is not going to take him there at the moment. Race leader, Jason Macros from Marina Mirage, comes out of Dandenong Road for the last time in this 27-lap journey.
Winton last year was a breakthrough performance for Jason Macros in the Australian Prototype Championship. A really important weekend, and he's backed it up now. His 2nd round victory and the first for the Wolf GBO8 in Australian competition. Jason Macros is the winner at Sandown. And in a great result for that team, his teammate JP Drake in 2nd. And Dimitrios Zardalaudis, the Radical SR8 on the podium. What a terrific performance. 3rd place, great drive. So Macros and Drake 1 and 2. Zardalaudis was 3rd, his first race podium in the series. Mitch Nielsen 4th, Tony Haggerty 5th, Mark Lauke 6th, with engine dramas and Philip Hughes 7th. You feel for Simon Haggerty, he ended up in pit lane with a deflating tyre. Sage Murdoch ended a DNF on the inside of the road at Dandenong Road with mechanical dramas in his west.
We'll be back here at Sandown in just a few moments.